Oh snap! Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. We're into a couple technical difficulties starting off the show, so we're going to start it off here, right? What's good, people? This is your boy Moss Prophet, Not Move Podcast. We're back with another fire episode for the WNBA. Today we're diving deep into the playoff push for the NBA right now. They're going on their final sprint, the fourth leg, as you would say. They're pushing towards the postseason. They're pushing towards the playoffs. To start off, we're going to talk about the top two teams pretty much for East and the West. Stakes are very high for both of these teams. Of course, last year finals participants, the drama is getting real. It's getting intense. You have the Lynx who've been very dominant, as I've praised them a lot this season. They've been one of those teams very consistent, very dominant, as I would say, as I called them last episode, and I call them all the time, the best basketball team on the planet. And you have the Aces, and you have the Aces who've been on a 12-game winning streak. You have the Liberty who's been one of the top teams in the East, pushing very strong toward the playoff. So we finna go on a nice ride. 2 weeks left in the season. Of course, as I said earlier, this is final push, and two big games indicated very huge playoff implications today. We're going to get into that a little bit later. The Minnesota Lynx are sitting very pretty. I think they have 30 wins and about 8 losses. They have a 6-game cushion on the West. Nafisa Collier, after dropped 32 and 9 in her return, and of course they lost to the Sun a few days ago at home, blowing a big lead there. They got the best offense, the best defense in the league. Like straight up, they're like that. They're the team to beat. Very similar to the OKC Thunder, right? They were very, very dominant on both ends of the floor. They have an MVP level player leading the way, playing both sides of the ball, being a very strong contender on both sides of the ball. Las Vegas Aces, as I said earlier, 12, 13 straight wins, very strong, longest active streak in the league. Excuse me. Asia Wilson being a dominant force she is, Western Conference Player of the Week. They're gunning for that 2 seed. They're climbing. They're being very productive. We had a triple double again. There's been a lot of triple doubles this season. They're one of the better teams in the last, I would say, month and a half. Been one of the top teams in a month and a half, and they want to get back to that finals where they're used to being at. Very that consistent contender. I don't know they can leapfrog. The Lynx. Get into one of those games that happened earlier today. Washington bench pours in 31 to no avail. The Los Angeles Sparks came in to play. They came to win, and they came up clutch. And a 81-78 thriller over the Washington Mystics. Kelsey Plum was very good late. She took over. She scored 14 in the fourth. De'Erica Hamby, very steady this game. She gave you a double-double with points, rebounds, 20 and 12 to be exact. One of the better rebounders in the league. Rakia Jackson got hot from deep. She went 4 for 10 tonight. She hit a lot of big shots in the clutch. On the opposite side, Washington's rookie Kiki Iriafen, 22 and 13, another double-double respectfully. She's one of the better promising players in the league. As far as, younger side, the promise is there. So what does this mean exactly? As I said, this has big playoff implications. That win keeps LA alive in playoff chase. It's very tight-knit in the Western Conference. They're 2.5 games back from the Valkyrie, who they just beat, right, for the 8th seed. Time is running short, as we know. As I said, last 2 weeks, as you guys know, this is the last 2 weeks of the regular season. But they're still in striking distance, right? And on the flip side, the Mystics may have never been able to pull this one out. Their bench played very well, but they still have a strong rookie core, and they have a chance to be in the postseason this year. They look like that rookie duo, Iriafen and Citron, Sonya Citron. They looking like a real deal future duo. But the Sparks need to treat every game from now on like a winner gone. And for Washington, it's about building their momentum, right? But Sparks, they have established players, right? Kelsey Plum and whatnot, and they need to establish dominance for the here on out. They just want to go home. Switching gears to today's big result, I would say. Golden State Valkyrie first year franchise. They toppled the Fever in the game. It was a lot of clock malfunctions, a power outage at Chase Center. But the, but the Valkyries still stayed locked in, ignited from deep. I watched the game. They got very hot from deep. You see a lot of pin downs, a lot of backside screens, pick and roll, right? Ileana Rupert, career high 21 points, 8-12 shooting. Uh, they started off 9 for 10 from three. The Valkyrie did. They shot 51% from the field, and at one point they were shooting 82% for three. They finished with 63%, which is still insanely high. While their defense played very well, they played very well defensive game, holding to Indiana to just 33% shooting, excuse me, and they gave them a lot. It was a bunch of turnovers, right? And give Veronica Burton credit for her playmaking this game. She dished out 13 assists. This is her 7th game this season, being in double-digit assists. She's been a good playmaker for the Valkyrie. That win pushed the Valkyrie to 21-18. As an inaugural franchise, their first season, they have been very, very good, lifting them to 6th place in the West. They have been very good. It's crazy to see a franchise in their first season be as good as Valkyrie has been, right? 3 games above 500. Their number, as we would call it, magic number for clinching a playoff spot, excuse me, would be like three wins. I think they need 3 wins to clinch a playoff spot. Very good for an inaugural franchise. So the stakes and significance of this is, of course, the result is huge for Golden State. Not only did they secure a win now, but they put themselves in an advantageous situation. And of course, they went through adversity of this being an inaugural season. They executed very well on both ends. Even with what the things that happened today, you would expect the team to fold, and they stood firm and control. They stayed in control, and they determined their own playoff fate. They climbed to the 6th seed, and they're pushing Indiana. As we know, Indiana need to continue to get to the playoffs. Without Caitlin Clark, they've been kind of on a margin. They're pushing Indiana. So the next steps for the Valkyrie will be to build off of this, right? This is your inaugural season. You're being very productive in the Western Conference, and you're clicking your inaugural season, right? As I said, you're 3 games above 500, and they're setting themselves up for success, right? They're setting themselves apart. This is that time down the stretch where you set yourself apart. This is where you're going your winning streaks, right? Last 2 weeks of the season gives you a good 4-game winning streak to firmly plant yourself in the postseason. And I kind of spoke on it a few seconds earlier. Indiana's in a position where the margin of error is this slim, right? They need to improve and regroup fast and find a rhythm to stay competitive in this race, right? Because things has been very tight for them. It's been very tight. I was very impressed with Kelsey Plum's late game surgence. Again, I spoke about it earlier. That was a very great game to watch. I saw a lot of on-ball pressure. It was some things I wanted to see clean up in both games. I think it was a lot of turnovers in both. The shooting was kind of very off in the first game. It was very off. You've seen a lot of bad shots, a lot of open shots that weren't falling. And so you want to see that cleaned up. But in the second game, the shooting from the Valkyrie was red hot, right? White hot, I would say. They forgot how to miss shots. It seemed like, as I said, they ended on 63% shooting from deep. Opened up the game. I think they hit 6 in the first. They ended for like 12 in the half. They were very, very hot. As I said earlier, Indiana, I think they lost their game earlier today. And so they need to regroup fast to get back into some type of rhythm without their Caitlin Clark, their best player. And this been a struggle for these teams, right? And you want to see certain teams take that next step because of course it's better off for them, right? But I give all the credit in the world to a team like the Lynx, because it doesn't matter if Fisa's there, if she's not there, as I told you guys earlier. They laying beat downs. They beat down the Aces, beat them to sleep. And And this is so that that, as I said, best basketball team on the planet, as I will say, and I stand by that. And so, anyways, this is doubleheader night. This is doubleheader recap. Excuse me. Tonight it's about 12, 11 where I'm at. It's very late. I will stay up to watch this game very late, and I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. This is Moss Pride from Not Move. This is a short little recap of the game that's happened and some of the things that have been happening lately. Of course, you guys know about Portland Fire. Before I forget to mention, Portland Fire got their first GM. Of course, that's one of the expansion franchises. Certain expansion rumors, things of that nature. Things are just heating up. This it's kind of quiet. It's going to be quiet outside. Just pure basketball is going to be quiet because it's like last few weeks of the playoffs are going to be quiet. Are you going to know like the games, playoff pushes, the narratives for playoff pushes? And I'm excited to see the last 2 weeks. Again, my apologies for the technical difficulties and some of the inconsistencies. You guys are going to see my face a lot more often here. You're going to see another episode very soon. I appreciate you guys tuning in with me. This is Moss Proud of Not Moved podcast. And don't forget, we're not moved.